Hello and welcome back to the Choose UCalgary podcast. I'm your host, Virginia Harvey, and today on the show I have guests joining me from the Engineering Internship and Haskayne and Arts Co-op programs. Thank you all for joining me today, and I'll leave it to you to please introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about what you do. So let's start with you, Mandy.
Hi, I'm Mandy Foley. I'm the Arts Co-op Coordinator with the Faculty of Arts at the U of C, and I help students when they join the program to prepare for work terms and support them throughout their work terms during their usually third and fourth years in their degree.
Hi, my name is Kimberley Dart, and I'm the manager of the Career Development Center at the Haskayne School of Business. We operate a full-service career center as well as a cooperative education support office, so we are very excited to be here.
Everyone, I'm Emily Wyatt, the manager of the Engineering Career Center. Our Career Center oversees our internship and practicum programs, as well as career development advising and professional development, and provides co-curricular opportunities like our leadership program and mentoring opportunities for students.
Awesome. So I know that all of the co-op and internship programs are structured a little bit differently. Could you each tell us a little bit more about the co-op or internship program for your faculty? Maybe we could start with engineering.
Sure. So our internship program has our students apply at the beginning of their third year with the intent that they'll go on an internship placement during technically their fourth year. So we have 12 to 16 months placement. So it really allows students to be fully integrated into a project or a team within the industry. And in order to qualify to be admitted into the internship program, you just need to be in good academic standing. And then you'll get access to professional development supports, our job posting board, and support from our career and employer specialists. I do want to also mention that last year we launched our practicum program, which is for first and second year students. And so it's a way to get relevant career training, and we have modules on kind of best practices for working in an office or work environment. And students do have access to a practicum job board for more summer placement, so shorter term, but it really gets you kind of career ready right from year one, which is exciting.
So at the Haskayne School of Business, we operate a cooperative education program, and a pure co-op program would be where students alternate full-time work and then full-time learning. So they would go a work term away and then come back to study. We're a little flexible with our program, so we do allow students to go out for working for 8 or 12 consecutive months. We want to meet the needs of our employers. Students in their second year can apply in the fall term to enter co-op. It is a competitive program, so we do ask that you read carefully what the requirements are. And I don't want to go into the requirements right now because we are in the process of reviewing our program. So by the time you're a student here, it may have changed. We are also in the process of developing a prerequisite course for you to prepare for co-op. We launched it this year, and it has been very popular with our students. And we will be we'll be reviewing and refining that as well to make sure that it meets the needs of our future students and co-op students.
So in the arts faculty, students are encouraged to apply to the co-op program in their second year of study in the fall term, with the anticipation that they will work through the career development workshops and training and potentially start their first work term in the summer following their second year of studies. Students in the arts co-op program can work for 8, 12, or even 16 months, and they can be consecutive or they can alternate between work and study, and they must come back and finish their degree. They can't end their degree on a work term, so that's one caveat we have. And the requirements are a certain GPA and a minimum and maximum number of courses, which we like to refer to each student individually because so many students have combined degrees, double degrees, they're transfer students. So we look at each student application independently and separately to determine if they're eligible for the program.
Perfect. I am a member of the Haskayne Co-op program myself, and I think having these programs, as Kimberly and Emily mentioned beforehand, to get you prepared for a work-term placement will definitely be very helpful for students. So why should students join the co-op program? The million-dollar question. Could you start, Kimberly?
What I found talking to hundreds and hundreds of students in my tenure here at the University of Calgary is students that complete the co-op program more often than not leave their last work term with a full-time offer in hand after graduation. I have not heard one alumnus tell me that they regret doing co-op. I mean, you're being paid a full-time salary while you're working, so they're earning money as well as learning towards their degree program. So the benefits are you're building your network in your chosen field and in the industry. You get to, what I like to say, try before you buy. So maybe you're an accounting student and you get to try working in public practice and private practice and see which one fits you best. Or maybe you decide accounting's not for you and you switch into something else. You get that opportunity to try these different areas. And we're very open to students doing that. You don't get a chance in your career to change jobs every 4 months without penalty later on. But as a student, that is totally acceptable and encouraged. And really, you graduate with a year of paid work experience. You can't get that without doing co-op or internship or delaying your degree. So it's a benefit all the way around. And just listening to past students and them telling me they have no regrets and they tell all their friends to do it, that's the biggest testimonial that we have.
For sure. And for business, there is a requirement, I know for business at least, that the work terms do have to be paid. So you're definitely getting the experience and also making money at the same time, which I think is a big benefit.
So students in arts are from like over 30 different programs of study, and they don't have usually a typically direct career path. So doing co-op lets them explore different career options. They could work for government, they could work for energy companies, they could work for not-for-profits, many work on campus, and they get to learn the different career options that they actually have. And like Kimberley said, most of our students say it was the best part of their degree, being part of the co-op program. And I think the one thing that stands out to me is that they graduate with a ton of confidence, that they actually have the skills to pursue careers that they want. And they sort of make their bar higher about what they do want to achieve because they know what they can achieve. And while they're in the co-op program, they have our support during their first work experiences. So it's like your first job with a great big safety net. So if you have any issues or concerns, you know you can talk to your coordinator and help manage your issues or areas of concern while you are learning to be a professional.
Absolutely. Having that support from the co-op advisors and program advisors helps a lot with that transition.
I think those were both two perfect answers. So I agree with everything that was said, and I hear the same things from our students. I would say unique to engineering, providing you meet the requirements and you're supervised by a professional engineer during your internship term, those hours of work will actually count towards a student's APEGA PEng designation. So in addition to getting the work experience, the confidence, the new skills, the opportunity to picture yourself in the workforce, you're actually contributing to the hours that you'll need to become a fully designated professional engineer, which is exciting. I also hear a lot from our students. It's really a good, break from the rigorous schoolwork that they're doing. And so it's a good opportunity to kind of envision their career as future engineers. And a lot of them come back to that last year of study really kind of re-energized and motivated to complete their degree and enter the workforce.
I can definitely relate to that. So I have done 3 awesome work terms myself, but I'm curious to know from each of you, what is the most unique or most interesting work term a student from your program has participated in?
So I would have to say, I was thinking about this preparation for our chat, and I did have a student working in the large animal area at the zoo, the Calgary Zoo. So she was working with the hippopotamus and the giraffes, and on my site visit, the vet was quite keen to get me involved and up close and personal with the hippopotamus, even though I did not want to. And I heard all about what had happened. This was just after the flood in 2013 and how they had managed to save these animals. So I would say that was one of the most interesting work terms that I had come across for sure.
Yeah, wow, that sounds pretty cool.
I think it's hard to pick just one, but we've had students at Tesla, BMW in Germany. We have relationships with a great company in Switzerland or Japan. But I would say kind of overarching, the coolest things that our students are doing are kind of contributing to new and emerging technologies or ways of living. So, we have a student that's working at a neotech startup that's actually working on new technologies with lithium and renewable energies. And it's one of kind of the most cool emerging trends in our way of living. So I think just the coolest thing that our students are doing are actually kind of contributing to how society is. So that would be kind of our biggest thing. And, if we don't have a relationship with a company, we're always willing to reach out. And so some students will come and say, I want to work at, X large company in the Silicon Valley, and we'll always help to make that happen. And students can certainly pursue the companies that they want to do. So that's the most exciting for us.
Yeah, I found in Calgary for sure there's many opportunities with startup companies. So it's really cool to be involved in actually growing a company as a co-op student or an internship student.
The one that sticks out the most to me is probably because it's not what you'd think of for a business student to do. We had a student and she was very passionate about social enterprise and the advancement of women in developing countries. And she found an NGO in Laos, and they worked with women who were at risk for sex trafficking. And she, all on her own, reached out and created her own co-op work term with them. So this was a paid position in Laos. And we had some reservations because it was a bit dangerous for her to do that. And we worked it out, and we were able to keep in touch with her using WhatsApp. And she had the most fantastic experience and came back full of amazing stories about what she experienced and what she learned and how she helped others. And I think her testimonial is probably on our website somewhere. But it was something that she did that met with her passions. And even though she's a business student, she said, I'm going to step out of that box. I don't have to do a traditional accounting or finance role. She could use her knowledge and help with operations and supply chain and make things happen. So that one stands out to me. It wasn't the highest paid. It wasn't what you typically expect, but it shows the initiative and ingenuity of our students and what they can achieve when they put their minds to it.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of the co-op program is that not only do you have the co-op job board where you can see opportunities, but you also have that opportunity to go and find your own and make that into a work term that is best for you. So that's been really nice for me as well. So next, I'm wondering, how would you say students can set themselves up for success in their co-op work terms?
Sure. I think you can start yourself up for success with really taking advantage of a lot of our programs and events that our Career Center offers. So we have one-on-one career advising, resume and cover letter review. One of our most popular events is called Recruiters Reveal, and it's essentially we bring in people that are actually hiring our students to give feedback on what students can be doing. And then I would say, we have, because our internship program is an academic program, students are participating in an online course as they go through their work term. So thinking about applying their learning into real life situations and really asking lots of questions and really thinking of it as an opportunity to grow not only their work experience, but their professional skills as well. So that would be my main kind of advice for students.
The number one thing students would tell me on their first work term, I always ask, what's been the hardest thing for you to adjust to from being a full-time student to a full-time employee? And far and wide, and number one is getting up to be at work for 8 a.m. So life as an employee is a lot different from life as a student. And once you have done all of the pre-work, you've got your resume, cover letter, you've applied for jobs, you've networked, you've got your offer, start preparing for life as an employee. It is different from being a student. Your time isn't as flexible, unfortunately, sometimes, but it is very valuable. So look for ways to enhance your work term while you're there. So adapt in advance, start getting up earlier, and plan out your commute to the office, and also make a plan with your supervisor on meeting people in the organization. So networking within. You'd be surprised what you can learn, and you might even find your next co-op work term within the organization, another department, by doing so.
I can definitely relate to the struggle of having to get up a little bit earlier for work. But one thing that I like about being on a work term is that once you're done at the end of the day, you're done. Whereas when I'm a student, I'm kind of always thinking about my homework and never really feel like I quite am completely relaxing. So it's nice when you're done at the end of the workday.
So I agree with both Emily and Kimberly about doing the pre-employment training, the resume, the interview. We do a transition to success before students start their first work term, so they kind of know what to expect, how to act in meetings. A lot of things that come back as surprising to them is business communication is so much different than academic communication and writing, and they have to learn how to be concise and brief and to the point and not worry about the word count, make things as long as possible. It's the opposite, trying to make things as short as possible. for them. And like Kimberly said, we really encourage students to really network while they're on a work term. And also a key requirement for the Arts Co-op students is reflection piece. So taking that time to really think about what they learn on the work term and how they can integrate it back into their courses. And we find a lot of students really sort of change some of the courses, some of their options they're taking, and it really helps them understand, you know what, I'm really good at this. I'm going to add a data science minor to my sociology degree because it really works. So it's really surprising for them. So remain a student, even student mentality, even while working, so that you're always learning, take notes, and really reflect on that. So when you finish your work term, you can look back and think about what you've learned.
Definitely. Applications for fall admission to an undergraduate program at the University of Calgary, as well as our high school entrance awards, are open until March 1st. Submit your application today. And you and Emily both kind of mentioned, but I was wondering if you could explain a little bit more the academic work that you're required to do while you're on a work term.
So our students, they have to submit learning goals at, shortly into their work term. And then they do a site visit where the coordinator advisor meets with the supervisor first and then with the student to make sure everything's going okay, that they're on track with their goals. And then at the end of the term, they have to submit the main piece as a reflective report, which is about 2,500 words. They have to do a program evaluation. They have to submit an updated resume, and they're required to attend an integrative session where all the students that were working that term come back. And there's some presentations and there's some group networking as well. And they also must get an evaluation from the supervisor that we ask the supervisors to submit. And so when everything is submitted and done successfully, they get a credit for the course.
Yes to everything Mandy said. And the only difference is at Haskayne, so it depends which work term you're on, whether 1, 2, or 3, and what your final deliverable is back to the university. So it might be a reflection paper, or it might be a presentation. And we are, as I mentioned, we are reviewing that right now. So it may be different when you come to school here, but it's very important for us that you do reflect on your experience in the workplace and how it relates to your academics and the skills that you've built, because the career readiness skills, we focus a lot on them at Haskayne, and we want you to understand what you've learned beyond the technical skills. So those social and human skills are very, very important. I don't like to say soft skills because they are equally as important as technical skills. So those reflection pieces are important. I know most students aren't a fan of writing them, but you learn so much and it solidifies what you've learned by doing so. And the learning objectives at the start of each work term that you create with your supervisor really help shape the success of the entire work term. So those are incredibly important as well. So we have basically the same requirements as arts, just a little bit of a twist for our students. And we do follow up to make sure you don't miss out, because we want you to get that credit at the end of the term.
For sure. And coming from the student perspective, it's not quite as much as it sounds like. It's definitely very manageable completing all that while you're on your work term.
Yeah, we have very similar requirements as well, obviously, because our program is structured a little bit differently, with most students going off for a year to 16 months. There's various kind of building modules in our internship course that students will be working on, and different types of activities, whether it's an assignment where you're talking with your supervisor about something, or perhaps a mentoring relationship that you're exploring. But we do really try to have opportunities for students to reflect and apply what they're learning in kind of the real work situations, and making it really relevant. And so the modules do kind of advance through the course of the student's internship, and they are reviewed and graded by graduate students in engineering, so that have been through that before, as well as kind of our associate dean and employer specialists are always reviewing the content to make sure that it's relevant for things that that industry really care about as well. So, we encourage students to think of it as, a really way to get the most out of your internship experience and build those kind of career ready skills.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you say that, or I'm wondering, I guess, are all students suited for the co-op program?
Yeah, I think that's something, with it being an opportunity for students to go after completion of their third year. We do encourage students to be exploring their own kind of educational path and thinking about, what is right for them and their career goals. So within the Schulich School of Engineering, we've really prioritized entrepreneurship as well. And so we have a few really great a Launchpad program in collaboration with our Hunter Hub for entrepreneurial thinking. We have an entrepreneurship capstone and some technical electives. So if students are considering after graduation pursuing their own startup ideas, internship may not be the right fit for them. And I did mention, we also have a practicum program, and so students can choose to get work experience that way, and they may prefer to do shorter work terms. But we do have the majority of our students participating in the internship program, just because it's a really great opportunity to get that over a full year of relevant work experience. And again, if upon completion of that, they want to go a different direction with their career, they already kind of have that experience and knowledge to make an informed decision. But certainly if kind of leaving school for a year to work isn't something that a student wants to do or chooses to do, there's plenty of opportunities to gain these work experience and relevant skills outside of the internship program.
So again, I agree with Emily. I would say the co-op program is good for probably 90% of students in arts, because again, they don't have a direct career path. So finding these different options that they had no idea existed through the co-op program is great. But there are some students that have a direct plan for their academic careers. They might want to be a professor or get their PhD. And so extending their academic studies by a year for co-op might not be the best fit for them. So we advise them, look and see what your graduate programs really look at it as. Is it strictly academics, or do they want a sort of a diverse background with work experience involved? So we talk to them and see, is this actually going to work for you? And I know that some students are under pressure by peers themselves and parents to graduate a certain time and feel that intense, my friends are graduating in 2021, I have to. And I always say, you're only a student for a certain amount of time, but you're going to be working for the rest of your life. What's the rush to graduate? So, but we talk about it, but I would say for most students, it's a very beneficial and positive experience.
All right, so I agree with both Emily and Mandy. At Haskayne, well, actually across campus, co-op and internship is an optional program. It is not required to graduate. And at Haskayne, we have a cap on the number of students that we admit into the co-op program, simply because we don't have the capacity to manage more students than we currently have right now. So about 15% of Haskayne students are in co-op, which means about 85% are not in co-op. And that does not mean that those 85% of our graduates are not successful. There are many paths to success as a student. We have hundreds of summer postings that come up, so students can apply for those and gain valuable work experience in the summer months. We have many students that choose the entrepreneurship route as well. And we have a lot of students, surprisingly. I'm always amazed at how focused our students are, because I was not that student when I was an undergraduate student. But we have a number of students that get out there and network and make their own opportunities. I remember meeting a first-year student, and he had it together. I was like, wow, I'm really impressed. He's coming into the Career Development Center already. And I reached out to him in the fall of the second year. I said, hey, are you going to apply for co-op? Because I thought he'd be a fantastic candidate. And he says, oh, thank you so much for reaching out, but I've already secured my summer job next year. So 8 months in advance, he's already got a summer job because he went out there and networked. And he never joined co-op, but he did other things to build on his experience on campus and to build his work experience, and has been very successful as a graduate as well. I do follow some students to see what they do. And there are numerous other ways to get involved and build on our experiential learning. We have case competitions. We are members of JDC West and ICBC. So you can build your skills in numerous ways beyond co-op. And we support all of that at the Career Development Center.
Awesome. Kimberly and Emily both kind of already answered my final question, but maybe if there's anything else you'd like to add, I wanted to ask what other opportunities or alternatives are available for students who aren't able to or don't want to participate in the co-op program. So maybe we'll start with Mandy, since she might have a little more to add here.
Sure, thanks. So as Kimberly and Emily said, a lot of students do secure summer jobs, so that's always an option. There's part-time roles as well. There's a peer helper program. We hire peer helpers every term to help us with our social media. There's peer helper experiences across campus that you can get work experience in. And we always encourage students to join student clubs, be involved in, that's a great asset on your resume. So many employers look for campus or community involvement. So being involved on campus, getting those actual skills, creating an event for your club is a great way, and volunteering outside of campus as well. So we always encourage students to meet as many people as possible. We refer them to career services if they need help that is outside of our realm that we don't have the resources to provide them with. So there's all kinds of additional experiences on campus, and also connect with your profs. A lot of our profs hire students to do research for them. So that's a great experience as well, and it extends students' network that way as well.
Absolutely. And in addition to all the individual or program job boards and things like that, there is also the general campus job board that has opportunities for students there as well. So there's definitely lots of places to find opportunities too. Kimberly, did you have anything else to add about the opportunities or other alternatives?
Yes, and you might even be able to build on this a little bit. One of the required courses at the Haskayne School of Business is Entrepreneurship and Innovation. Every student must complete this course in their first or second year, and Virginia can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it is, you're put into a group and you design a product or service and you pitch that. You get the help throughout the term of coaches, and you create a pitch, and the top pitches are then go into a Dragon's Den style of competition, or the RBC Fast Pitch we call it, because it is sponsored by RBC, and the winning team actually gets some startup money to actually create this opportunity idea. And we have had some students that took their idea and ran with it and made their own business from it. So you never know where your academics will take you in your career. From one class in your first year all the way to graduation, I've been so impressed with the ingenuity of our students. And this is beyond everything Mandy said. With clubs, we have all those opportunities as well across campus, and beyond campus, there are opportunities. It's been my experience doing our employer development that industry wants to hire you, and sometimes they just don't know how to make that introduction. So that's where we fit in as well, is to help you make those connections with industry.
Yeah, the entrepreneurship course definitely is a really cool opportunity for students to get some experience with that. And I admire my classmates who are starting their own companies or doing things like that. Some people are very, very motivated. So there's definitely lots of opportunity and support in Haskayne and just at the university in general if you're looking to learn more about entrepreneurship and innovation.
Yeah, those are all great points that that came before me, and I know I mentioned a bit about kind of our practicum program and our other career services, but a couple of things I did want to mention. We have our engineering leadership program. It's actually the largest co-curricular leadership program in the country, which is really exciting. So we have 600 students in engineering that are participating in it. We have industry that come in and present and deliver workshops for our students, and it's a really great way to develop those professional and interpersonal skills really from year one. And it's a great opportunity for something to put on your resume, but also opportunity to network, which is really exciting and valuable to our students. We also have an engineering online mentoring program, so we invite all students to join that, and we have a database of alumni and engineering employers that students can kind of network with, have conversations, informational interviews. So really our priority is, how can we from day one in engineering give you access to relevant industry professionals, and there's plenty of opportunities to do that, in addition to our technical clubs and teams. Particularly, we have, a solar car team, we have our Formula One racing team, and so that's a really great way for students to kind of get hands-on technical experience as well during the course of their degree.
Perfect. There's definitely tons of opportunity all around campus for all of these cool experiences, and so much support from all the different career centers and teams to help you find exactly what you want to do. So thank you so much to you, Mandy, Kimberly, and Emily, for joining me to talk about this today. That concludes pretty much everything I wanted to go over today. So if you're a prospective student looking to learn more about the co-op and internship opportunities here at the University of Calgary, I will include the links for you in the episode description so you can learn more. Thanks for listening and have a great day.